All right, today we're diving into a partnership that's honestly rewriting the rules of how we protect our communities. We're talking about data science and public health. We're going to explore how these two fields are teaming up to crack the code on some of the biggest health challenges on the entire planet.
So let's just start with a question that, let's be real, we've all had to think about recently. How do you fight an invisible enemy that's spreading all over the globe? A threat that just moves way faster than we can react. This isn't just some abstract idea. It's the core challenge public health is facing right now.
And to really get why this partnership is such a game changer, we first have to understand the sheer scale of the problem. So let's set the stage with a crisis we can all relate to. And this really gets right to the heart of it. In a pandemic, time is the one thing you absolutely do not have. Health officials, the folks at the CDC, they're under immense pressure to make these huge decisions with information that's changing by the second. But when a crisis like this hits, that's when the heroes step up. And in our story, we've got two key problem solvers who've really come to the front lines. Let's meet them. So, on one hand, you've got public health. The best way to think about it is like a doctor, but for a whole community, a whole population. Their job is to protect everyone. And then you have data science. These are the detectives, the ones sifting through all the clues, the data, to find those critical patterns and insights. So, what happens when you team up the community's doctor with a data detective? Well, you get something pretty revolutionary. This partnership is what lets us shift from just reacting to diseases to actually predicting and maybe even preventing them. It's a whole new frontier. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's look at a real-world example. We're going to follow the clues and see exactly how an agency like the CDC uses this incredible partnership to track a virus in real time. Just picture it. You're in the CDC command center. Reports are flooding in from all over. The single biggest, most urgent question on everyone's mind is this: where will the virus spread next? The answer to that one question changes everything. It tells them where to send resources, who to warn, and where to focus. So how do they even begin to answer that? Well, they follow a pretty clear process. It's like the health detective's playbook. You start by asking that critical question. Then you gather every piece of data you can get your hands on. Case numbers, travel data, you name it. Next, you build a model to find the signal in all that noise. And finally, you use that model to forecast what's most likely to happen. It's how you go from chaos to clarity. But, where next is still a little vague. To make it actually useful, the data scientists have to sharpen that question. They turn it into something more specific, something actionable, like, okay, which states are most at risk in the next few weeks? Now that is a question that can guide where you send tests, support teams, and critical equipment. And this brings us to the real superpower that data science brings to the table here. We're talking about the power of prediction, using the patterns of the past to get a glimpse of the future. And they do it with a very specific, very powerful technique. The key tool for this job, it's called predictive modeling. This is really where data science shines and provides its most valuable insights. So what on earth is predictive modeling? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a weather forecast, but for disease. It takes all that past data and uses it to predict future hotspots. This gives health officials a crucial head start. It's not a crystal ball, but it gives them probabilities, which is exactly what they need to prepare and get resources in place. It's become a core skill for any modern health detective. Now, this is a huge topic, and we could go on about it for hours. And in fact, we are going to dive way deeper into how all this works in a future explainer, so definitely keep an eye out for that one. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What does this all really mean for us, for our communities? It means the future of public health has arrived, and it's being built piece by piece on a foundation of data. So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here. You have public health. Their mission is to protect communities. Then you have data science, which brings the tools and insights to do that job effectively. When they work together, it helps officials make faster, smarter decisions. And that leads to better preparation. And at the end of the day, it saves lives. And that really leaves us with one final exciting thought. We've seen how powerful this team-up is against a pandemic, so you have to wonder, what's the next big public health mystery we can solve with these tools? Whether that's predicting flu season with incredible accuracy or figuring out how to better manage chronic diseases in a city, the possibilities are just starting to unfold.